Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. You know, there is an insidious phrase that it's been overused, but maybe not overused enough. And the phrase, it comes in a few different forms, but it always contains the word hate. When someone doesn't agree with you or like what you have to say, I've heard it used over and over again that you are spreading hate or that you are full of hate. And typically it comes from people that lean left. I don't hear this attack, and that's exactly what it is. Attack, especially, it's an attack and a triangulation at the exact same time for people to use against those that they don't agree with. I find it I was going to say fascinating, but it's not fascinating. I find it irritating, actually, that people think that they've shut down a conversation, and actually they do shut down conversations when they use these terms that you're full of hate. Well, you're full of hate, and what you said is hateful. Therefore, it doesn't have any relevance, and nothing can be further from the truth most of the time. There are people that are full of hate. There are people that hate people for all kinds of reasons. There are people who hate people for their race or for their gender. I am not one of those. Although I have preferences, and I also have preferences on the way people behave, does not make me full of hate. This exchange that I had was with someone that accused me of spreading hate, and especially on someone else's channel, and this channel is a lot edgier than mine. I try to refrain from swearing on the channel, because one time I was watching a channel, somebody else's, this just got off of this woman, I don't remember her name, it's along the same narcissism channels, and she was just potty mouth. It was just sewer mouth. I couldn't, and also my kid was in the room at the same time, and I had to turn it off. And I remember that sometimes when you're watching these videos, you may not be watching them alone. Maybe someone else is in the room that might be offended by that kind of language. But the channel that we were having the discussion on, this guy's a lot saltier than I am, and maybe not saltier, but his language is more colorful, let's put it that way. And he brings up subjects that I try to refrain from. I try to keep this channel specifically about, at least for now, narcissism, even societal narcissism, the way people behave, how they behave close to us, how it's affected us. And I also try to bring something that I don't think a lot of people do. There's two things I think I try to bring. A is fighting back when you need to until you can go no contact. And B is that when you are finally no contact and you have gotten justice or gotten back what's yours, things get a whole lot better. Those are the two things that I think that I bring to the discussion. Hate isn't one of them. It's the most ridiculous thing that adults continue to use this term. It's an attack is really what it is. And it's unfortunate that that people are still using those terms in discussion of issues. And maybe I don't always put things in the most eloquent way, but like I was saying, some of these channels, man, the language that people use is a whole lot rougher than what I say. And so, you know, why don't you do this on your channel? Well, I'll tell you what, if you get a smart mouth on my channel, or you get sideways with me, go look at the pinned comments. That's how I use pinned comments, is I will love the comment and I will pin it so everyone else can take a look at it as well. And so I don't behave any different on anyone else's channels as I do on my own. So I thought it was an odd but conversation, but something that needed to be talked about. It does have relevance to narcissism. It absolutely does, where people think that they have a right to express their opinions, that somehow yours are, sorry, the sun looks like it's getting really bright behind me. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully I don't have to cut the video off. And I'll keep talking. If I do, I'll edit it later. they seem to have a right to express their opinions and get as caustic as they want to be. But if you say something that they disagree with, suddenly you're the one full of hate. This is the stupidest shit, man. This has got to stop. This is part of the societal narcissism. The conversation was a rough subject, and it's about birth control and abortion, and it's a really, really hard subject. It's something that I don't want to bring up on this channel, and for the most part, I don't bring those kinds of things up. Like I said, I try to keep it simply to the point. But apparently, this person thinks that that those issues only are a women's issue. Really? What about the child? Is it a child's issue? What about the man that you conceived the child with? Is it his issue too? I think you're forgetting two of the three. All right, so it's not just a women's issue. Sorry if y'all don't agree with that. It's not just a woman's issue. And I'm not going to give too much of my opinions on that, is that I think that we need to be very, very careful. Birth control, it should be, I'm going to put my 2 cents, why not, what the hell. It should be utilized with all the thousands of ways. It should be utilized much more often. There's really not an excuse. There's not an excuse to use birth control. I'm sorry, abortion as a birth control method. It's disturbing, it's barbaric, and it should be an absolute last resort. And I don't want to hear about, yeah, if it's incest or rape, of course, good Lord. You know, those things are another more private matter that really doesn't have anything to do with the man at that point. And if a man ever rapes a woman and she conceives, it is her choice, and he ought to suffer a great deal for his actions in that. But for the most part, that's not the conversation. That's not what it's being used for. Anyway, the channel's not about that, but there's my 3 cents worth. My apologies. Anyway, so anyway, this spreading hate, it's bullshit. Anytime someone tells you that you're spreading hate, you've probably won the conversation. Simple as that. Anyway, it's good to see everyone again, and I hope to see you again real soon. Thanks.